Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in the pre-Basecamp Speakers Forum. Today, I have the pleasure of having with me Dr. Peter Kevorkian. He has spoken at Basecamp before, so this will not be his first time. And for those of you who have been there before, you will get the pleasure of getting, it's like a sequel. When you go to the movies and you get to see the sequel, you get to see what happens next. So thank you, Dr. Kevorkian, for spending some time with me today to talk a little bit about Basecamp.
Amy, I love what you and Dr. O are doing. It's shedding the light on people, chiropractors and veterinarians, on the importance of staying focused on what it is that we do that is truly unique to improving the health and well-being of animals and human beings. So, and it is sort of a sequel. Actually, when your husband had asked me to speak again, I said, "What do you want me to speak about?" I said, "What do you want to speak about?" Well, last year's topic was why, and this year's topic is why not. So it truly is a sequel. Last year we spoke a lot about the why of chiropractic practice, being grounded in our philosophical ideals, and making sure that we're congruent with employing our philosophy, not just as a viewpoint of how we view things, but how we articulate it to patients, the humans we take care of, or the owners of the animals that we take care of, but also holding that same space in terms of how we engage in our technique as we develop our technical prowess and our technical competencies and being able to serve people. So it is really staying aligned to the why of the uniqueness of what we do. This year, I'm going to take a step back from that. I'm going to say, why not? And actually to look at the intention and purpose that drives us as beings, as human beings, and look at what motivates us. Why do we do what it is that we do? Well, what's the inner thing? And viewing that when we don't come from that place of authenticity of who we are as a being, in terms of our soul purpose, not just our professional purpose, but our soul purpose as people to be alive, that when that is not in congruency, that indeed, metaphorically, is a subluxation. And so we'll talk about how to unsubluxate the mind and the tools that we can utilize to be the ideal expression of our soul spirit as we serve people with this unique service that we have.
I really look forward to that, because I just have to tell you that every time I hear you talk, I get this just slightly new perspective on things that, we've all thought about before, but it's always so insightful. The other day, I was going through some files and I came across a recording. I don't know where it came from, but it was you talking about how BJ really talked about the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we spend all our time talking about all these other things when it's really just one thing? And I'm looking forward to you expanding on.
I look forward to being there.
That's going to be
It's
amazing.
For those people that have never been to Basecamp in person, it is a magical place. I don't even think that Dr. Amy and Dr. Bill really, really embrace the magic they are creating there. Yes, for the people who come and who speak, yes, for the people who they serve, but there, you go on their place and you look out over to the where you're Meridian, Texas, looking out onto the world. It is a sacred space that you guys have created to bring the healing and light to the world. So it's a true honor to come there and be there.
Well, thank you. I want you to tell me this. So what is your superpower? Like, if you had a superpower, what would you say it is?
Oh my God. Well, I guess if I had to think of what's the superpower, I think I'm really good at allowing people to recognize just how extraordinary that they are on the inside. We very often look at other people and they say, "How are you doing?" "I'm doing great." "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing good." And my usual answer is I'm doing better now that you're here. Now that you're with me, I'm as a better being. But I hold that not just as words I say, but in terms of a vibration that I put into the world. And if I have a superpower, I really believe it's people feel like they are heard in terms of who they are as a person and what their needs, wants, desires are, and that I honor and respect that space, even though I may not agree with them, but I will still hold sacred their perspective, their values, and their ideals in the world. So I guess if I had a superpower, it's I know how to make people feel big.
That's an amazing superpower to have. And I have felt it. So I completely concur. I mean, my next question was, how do you know that it's a superpower? But, I've been there. You've got a superpower for sure. And I think it precedes you a little bit. I mean, you just have that kind of aura, stature, whatever you would call that.
Thank you.
And you iron your t-shirts, so that makes a difference too.
Now you're giving away my secrets.
So, that said, my next question is, what would be your $1 million bonus tip? Because we're really going to base camp this year to build some $1 million animal chiropractic practices. What would be one of your $1 million bonus tips?
$1 million bonus tip. Well, it might actually be a $5 million bonus tip. And It's a bonus tip that people knew when they were little babies. And our world does a real good job of taking it out of us. And, I firmly believe that every spirit that comes into physical form, whether they are in human form or animal form, is really programmed and designed for one thing, and that's to give and receive unconditional love. And that our true journey of our lifetime is to come into conscious awareness of that, and for ourselves, or to hold a mirror and see that in ourselves, and to take away the obstacles or the blocks to allow that to come into the world. If we could look at every being that way, that every human being is striving for that same journey, then what can we do to allow that person to see that in themselves and to express that within their lives? And that would then change sometimes the conversation. As parents, we look at our kids and we want them to behave certain ways to fit into our paradigms, our beliefs. But that's not really what life is about. Life is about people being an authentic expression of who they are. And animals are the same thing. If we go to an animal and we're living in a state of fear that they may bite us or they harm us, or that we need to be the doctor and figure out what do I need to do to fix that creature, that puts out a whole different vibration than to go to an animal and just be in that state of pure unconditional love. Is I love you, and you are indeed perfect just the way you are. I know I strive for that, and by no means I'm not a deity. I can't hold that space in everything I do. But anytime that I'm in states of confusion, what do I do with a human on my table or an animal that I'm about to serve? I just log into this place. Let me just love them, and come into that space of like, you're perfect. I love you. I want to be with you. Allow me to hold that space around you. And most of the time, a dog, a horse, a pig, a goat, a geese, whatever they are, they drop their fears because they sense that. They have this incredibly powerful ability to sense that tone, that vibration around us. Humans have that as well.
Awesome. That is an amazing, powerful tip. That's a bonus tip, you guys. Keep it. Bring it with you to base camp. Base camp is September 15th, 16th, and 17th. Register now for it at animalchiropracticeducation.com/basecamp. Reasons to register include coming to see Dr. Kevorkian and his beautiful wife, Dr. Patty Giuliano. But the other reasons you can come are that there are 27 credit hours available for ABCA certified and IVCA certified doctors. And if you happen to be a chiropractor, there are 5 hours of CE for chiropractors this year.
Yahoo!
Brand new. We've been fighting for it hard, and there you go. So find us today, animalchiropracticeducation.com. Come see Doctor. Don't miss it. So you want to watch every single day, because you know what? You're going to miss a lot if you just don't even go to the bathroom. I just say turn it on and keep it on. Or if you take to the bathroom, turn your camera off. Thank you, Dr.
Well,
Kevorkian, for your time today to spend with me and talk about base camp and your how amazing it's going to be when you get here.
it's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.